All right, we are back in Alan Wake 2 today with the 5080, and we're going to be going through 1440p and 4K. So right now we are at 1440p. I'm just going to click the right button here. All right, so graphics settings, just want to show you we are at 1440p native, DLAA, no upscaling, no frame generation, no VSync, of course. Everything I have manually set to the lowest possible setting just to give us a baseline, and of course, no path tracing, no ray tracing. And right here we are at 132 FPS. So, you know, we're not upscaling, so that's kind of to be expected. And it looks pretty rough. You know, we are all bottomed out here. So let's just go ahead and let's notch it up a few more. Just going to turn the volume down a little bit. All right, so going to graphics, and I'm just going to go to the low setting, which as you can see kind of kicks things around a little bit. It gives us a little bit more of the nicer looking things, like the object density goes up, which really helps that forest floor look nice. All right, so this is just the low setting, and we are at 120, 118 FPS here, and looking fine. Of course, this is to be expected. I just really want to set that baseline, and let's just keep going through the next preset, which will be medium. And let's go over here and kick on that medium preset. And this is what it did here, just to give you a quick look. Bump some things up. The scattered object density is set to ultra. And in this forest setting, it really does fill out some of those empty areas a little bit better. It makes it look a little bit more believable and alive. So that's a good setting, especially in this game where you've got a lot of nature. You are in the forest after all. So all right, just going to come up here. We'll go to this abandoned general store here and just run around here, and then we'll adjust some more settings and kind of get to the fun stuff. All right, so we're at 96, 100. This is looking fine, of course. Nothing out of the ordinary here. I think we all agree it was going to look fine. Kick that up to high. Now notice this does not kick everything to high, which I will do after we run this run a quick look at what these settings will do for us. Definitely improved. I mean, the visual fidelity is night and day between low and high in this game. So, we're just going to run around here. We're not doing any path tracing or upscaling right now. We're going to explore those settings at 1440p, and then we'll jump over to 4K toward the later part of this video. Just you got some timestamps down there, so just make sure that you jump around to wherever you want to jump around to. And a subscription really helps me out a lot. Speaking of jumping, we are really close to 100 subscribers, and that would be an awesome milestone to hit. If you'd help me out with that, that would be greatly appreciated. All right, so we are just going to go into the highest settings now. So we got over here, and then we'll just jump over here to max all this out. All this kind of, lighting stuff really does make a huge difference. All right, so without getting into ray tracing and path tracing, we have completely maxed out all of the settings at 1440p. No upscaling. So we're at 80 FPS. All right. So let's just look at what a little bit of the DLSS will do for us before we jump into the path tracing and ray tracing settings. All right, so go over here, and we're just going to toggle on the quality setting. I love this game, how quickly it adjusts these settings. Some games just really struggle to do it quickly, but this is not one of them. All right, so we are at 109 FPS with quality DLSS. And that is a really nice way to play this. I mean, this is going to give us some of that frame rate back for whenever we turn on path tracing and ray tracing, because that will probably tank a lot of this frame rate we're experiencing right now. Let's just do that. Let's go over here and let's see what a little bit of ray tracing will do. So I'm just going to use the low preset right now, and that does kick on a little bit of this transparency. This is a preset, and it will adjust these as I adjust these, so just so you know that. So this will give you a little bit of ray tracing, no path tracing yet. All right, let's jump into here, and now we're at 81. So we lost about 20 FPS on that. But our VRAM allocation is fine. I'm not going to go over there. That dude doesn't have clothes on, so I am not going to risk it. So anyway, we're just going to go over here and go up to this little shack thing again before we adjust some settings. Okay. So that was quality DLSS. So we're upscaling from 960p to 1440p, and then we're just going to kick on a little bit more of that ray tracing, and that's going to give us some path tracing set to medium. So I'm just exploring the presets right here. So I'm not going to go into all this like really fine minutia detail stuff. But this is just to kind of give you an idea of what to expect. 69, 71 FPS. And let's check this fence out. I always like to look at this fence because on quality DLSS, it looks super nice still. A lot of times you'll lose these details with DLSS, but, you know, not with quality for sure. It looks really nice. Honestly, the visual difference between quality and native is basically indistinguishable. I always just recommend go ahead and turn on the quality DLSS because it's going to give you a lot of that frame rate back, as well as some of your VRAM, which is super important, as we have learned in this title. All right, so let's jump over here, and we are going to go to the graphics preset, and we're going to come down here, and we're just going to kick it up one more to the high preset on the ray tracing. And that kicked on the higher level of path tracing as well. We're still over 60. Which in this title is more than enough. It's perfectly fine. Dipping below 60 right now, so we'll keep an eye on that. Let's just come over here before we go to that next preset. All right, I'm going to go to the next preset, and we are going to just look at the Ultra preset, which should kick everything over to Ultra, and just having to adjust off of my foot here. All right, so 52, 51, so we're under 60. So just important to note that, but I mean, our VRAM allocation has been fine the entire time. We are playing with the absolute highest settings right now at 1440. And, you know, I suspect when we go to 4K, we're going to have to make a little bit more concessions. But here we go. Let's just get this over 60. And to do that, I think balanced will do it. Let's just check that out. Almost. We just squeaking by. Just squeaking by. So we're at 60. So I would probably frame generate off of this. I feel like that would be fine in a slower paced title like this. It's not like a super quick game by any means. It's meant to be more story driven. So I would just come over here, and our VRAM is at a really good place, so we should be able to frame generate no problem whatsoever. And of course, you could always go back up to that quality here, depending on how it feels to you. Let's just go straight up to that 4X, and that's going to hit a little bit of the VRAM, not too bad though. It actually seems to went down. Okay, there it is. It caught back up. All right, so 11.5 gigabytes of allocated VRAM here on a 16 gigabyte card. I will say that the balanced setting is noticeably a bit blurrier, just a tiny bit. And I suspect that's just because we are upscaling from, I believe it's 720. I'll double check myself here, but no, we're upscaling from 835. So really, if we go down to 720, it's going to be a little bit more blurry. But once we jump over to 4K, I believe that these settings will be a little bit more usable. So I would probably play it at 1440p with the 4X quality DLSS, and then we'll probably come down here and just play with maybe one of these two settings, maybe just go down to high on your path tracing and leave your ray tracing set to ultra. And that's going to give you a pretty good experience too. And looks really good, nice and sharp. All right, so let's jump over to 4K and start this test over. Thank you for hanging out with me. If you like this kind of content, of course, please consider subscribing. It helps me out more than you know, and it's free to you. So free, and it helps me out. So not a bad deal for either one of us. All right, so DLAA, let's turn this off. I'm just going to get a nice, it's really dragging now because it does not like 4K at the moment. go to that low preset, and let's come over here. Let's low everything, bottom it out, turn that off. All right, so this should give us a nice baseline of what 4K low will look like. I just undid everything, didn't I? Jeez, hang on, there we go. Off, okay. Low, okay, back, we're back. All right. No DLSS, we're at native, no frame generation, everything's set to lowest setting possible. And this gives us 82 FPS. It's super sharp. I love the way 4K does look on this game. Everything's nice and in focus. So let's just see what we can get away with. This is a 5080 again, and I'm assuming we're going to run into that VRAM a little bit. I hope not, but we'll see. All right, so let's bring this back up to low. So it did kick a few things back up. And let's see what this does for us. We're in the 80s. Now we're in the 68, 69 range. So we're still over 60 at native 4K. No upscaling, no frame generation at all right now. We're just running it straight native and just seeing what we can get with these presets. All right, so let's go into options, graphics. And let's come down here. Let's go up to that medium preset and see where we're at now. So this is, again, just medium, totally native, 61 FPS. No ray tracing at all. Everything's off down there. So we're at 61 with medium at 4K. And just for the sake of time, let's just keep going. So we can kind of establish that medium is going to be where that breaking point is going to be at native. So let's see. Come in here. Over to graphics. I'm a broken record. That's okay. Quality preset. Set it to high. And this is not the highest. It is just high. And it didn't really hurt us too bad. I mean, we're still at over 60 at 4K native. Again, without that path tracing, you can really get away with a lot. But the path tracing, ray tracing stuff really is super demanding. Let's just keep going. And we will kick up the next preset to max. So our preset here on high just does some things, but we have to come in here and actually customize it to get it to go all the way up. We're going to go all the way up there. So all the presets are completely maxed out. Just keeping me honest here. All right, so no ray tracing, no path tracing, and everything is, of course, still native DLAA. And what do we get away with? We're down in the 40s. All right, so 47, 48. It's a very demanding game. We're not even ray tracing yet. We are at 4K though, which is, you know, essentially 4 times as much as 1080. So let's just keep going and just see what we can do as far as bringing in some DLSS before we hit it with that path tracing. So I'm just going to go to another quality setting and see what that gives us back. Still looks just as sharp as ever. We're over 65 FPS, which is super nice. So really, I would probably say that we're going to have to go down to performance DLSS to get any sort of path tracing to work out for us. We are at 70. So I'm just going to kick on the path tracing and see what it does. All right, we're just going to start off with the low, which will not turn on path tracing yet. This is just ray tracing. And it knocks us down back to 49, 51. So we're in the 50s. Low 50s at least. Just going to go to a little bit different area now. I feel like we've spent some time over there, so we're just going to get some other things to load in. Going to try to avoid the naked guy. All right, so 46, and honestly at this pace of a game, 46 is fine. It feels pretty good. Nothing really, you know, fast pace again. So let's go here. Beautiful as ever though. Game looks great. All right, so 48 FPS is what we kind of left off with there. Come over here and kick up to our very next setting of ray tracing, which does kick on path tracing set to medium as well. So I'm suspecting we're going to lose a little bit. Yep, we're going to be in the high 30s now. So we're in the high 30s. I can definitely tell now that we're losing some frame rate. And this wouldn't be where I would really want to keep it. So if you want to go up a little bit on that path tracing, you know, it's of course set to medium. I would come down here and I would just go to balanced. You're playing with that seesaw, you know, you're trying to give a little and take a little to get a good experience. So again, just went to that balanced preset on the DLSS because the medium path tracing was eating into our performance a little bit. Our VRAM allocation is looking fine though, which I'm super happy about that. I mean, 4K and we're still under, under 12 gigabytes of allocation. All right, so let's jump over here again and let's see what we can do to get this frame rate back up because I'm feeling like performance is going to be it. This is going to upscale it from 1080p to 4K. And the difference of performance DLSS on 4K is profound compared to 1440 and 1080p. I mean, it just starts to fall apart at those lower resolutions. But at 4K upscaling from 1080, it still looks really, really good. So happy about that. You know, I mean, don't be afraid of DLSS, especially on 4K. That's kind of what it was intended to address. Avoid the naked guy. Let's come over here. All right, so let's go this way maybe. Check out this little building again. I'm trying to get you a little bit more visual differences as I run around here, not just the same thing over and over. All right, so we're at 55 FPS, 58, 62. All right, so we're over 60 in some parts, high 50s in others. And I do feel like we could probably come in here and get away with a little bit more ray tracing. I just kind of want to see, because again, this is not a fast-paced game. Let's just see what it does now. We're still at mid-50s, 55, performance DLSS with a pretty high setting on that ray tracing, which introduces a high setting on the path tracing. So really, I mean, you're looking at performance DLSS, everything set to max, ray tracing preset set to high, which gives you the path tracing set to high and transparency set to high. Let's just go to ultra. Let's just see what it does. I mean, everything's maxed out at this point on performance DLSS, and we are at 45 FPS. I can start to tell a little bit, just a tiny bit, nothing major, definitely playable, definitely feels fine. We are creeping around high 40s, low 50s. So I would just frame generate off of this, to be honest. I mean, this game is not fast enough to be like so demanding you need like 3 million FPS by any means. And we've got the VRAM to do it. Our VRAM allocation is only 11. So let's kick that 4X on. That jumped us up to 12, a little over 12 on our VRAM. So this is a completely maxed out experience, 4X. And yeah, this is really smooth. Looks really damn good too, and feels great with that frame generation on. As you can see, our smaller details still look good even on performance. It's because we're upscaling from 1080, which does keep those refined details intact a little bit better. Say you didn't want to do 4X though. Say you really just wanted to do like 3X. Let's go down here and check that out. Let's see what that does. I mean, it's pretty much what you expect. 120. Still feels good, still feels fine. This game does not have a lot of ghosting, so I wouldn't be afraid of that 4X. I just wanted to show you kind of what it looked like and what you can expect when you drop it down to 3X, and then we're going to go to 2X just to give you that final look at what you can expect at that 2X setting. And notice our VRAM between 2X, 3X, and 4X really didn't matter that much. It does affect your responsiveness, but again, in a game like this, not a big deal. Looking at 95 FPS on a fully maxed out ray tracing, fully maxed out presets, and then all the other settings too. Even the preset didn't take care of everything, maxing it all the way up. So everything is completely maxed out. We're at 2X frame generation on performance and DLSS. Looks great. I would play at this, no problem. So that's going to wrap this video up. Thank you for hanging out with me. Especially if you made it this far, the watch time helps the algorithm out tremendously. So if you feel it in your heart, you can go back and watch some of my other videos and make sure you watch them all the way to the end. That'll help me out. But just, subscribe if you haven't. Give a like on this video if you like it. And turn on that bell so that you won't miss any of my videos coming up, especially with the 5080. This is going to be something I'm going to be testing out quite a bit because I feel like it is a good card for a lot of people. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up, and we will see you in the very next video. Thank you.